I remember sitting at a cafe in Calcutta one afternoon while studying with him. It wasn't much more than, a cluster of tables and benches in the sidewalk's shade, and I'd been sitting there for hours, having decided, not to leave until I saw something that wasn't obvious. And anyone here who's ever been to India will know that there's never any shortage of bizarre stuff to kind of amaze you and entertain. But what I was looking for wasn't the usual wild rumpus of life that's so overwhelming to the newly arrived. I was searching for a whole other level. So for the 1000th time, I glanced out into the street and I found myself looking at a woman and a cow. It's something you see across the subcontinent and isn't very unusual at all, as anyone who's been to India knows cows are sacred there. People would pay a rupee or so to the woman who sold them a handful of succulent grass, and they'd feed it to the cow. And so I stared, and I stared, and I stared, and I stared, the woman and the cow. And as I stared, I took notice of the details: the bright orange color of the woman's sari, the mottled pattern of the cow's hide, and the way the grass had been heaped up. And the more I looked at it, the more I began to think it was ordinary. I'd been looking at it so long that I wasn't doing more than scratching the surface. But then, suddenly, it was as if something shifted inside me, as if a gear lever had been kind of moved. At that moment, I worked out what was really going on. You see, the woman didn't own the cow. The milkman did. And after he had milked his animal early in the morning, he wanted to go out and sell the milk. So he rented the cow to the woman. And each morning she'd pluck some grass in a field, and she'd lead the creature into the city. And as I'd seen, people would pay her a rupee or two for some grass, and they'd feed it to the cow. By deciphering the system, I witnessed the genius which served everyone. The milkman was happy because he was getting paid to have his cow looked after and fed all day. The woman was happy because she got a livelihood out of it. And the passers-by were happy because they received divine blessings for feeding a sacred animal. But best of all, the cow was thrilled to bits because she got fed all day long and loved by everyone.